Well, good morning, folks. I'm really hoping today's video doesn't go on. I've just started at 7 o'clock in the morning, bright and early Saturday morning. I just spilled my coffee trying to unlock the back door, and then it started raining, so I can't film outdoors anyway. Right, oh God, these chairs. Every time I sit on one of these chairs, I do that. It just unfolds, the X-ray catches me out. Right, okay, hello folks. So, plan for today is just a general update, really. There's loads and loads of stuff to show you, and I've been a bit lax on videos. I've been basically taking it easy this week, but that's not true at all, actually. I've been sort of taking it easy in some ways, I guess. I've not been up to the allotment too much. I've just been watering the chilies, basically, and done it a little bit on the poly. You'll see today, okay? We'll show you. Don't click off. I know I'm in the garden now, but don't worry, we are going to the allotment. I promise you. So a few things to show you in the garden too, but first I just want to mention about Tony as well. Most of you will be aware he went in for an operation at the start of this week, fairly major operation, and I'll get loads of comments asking about him if I don't address it. So it's now Saturday and we've not heard from him, but we're not too worried in the chat. You know, all the potty mouth guys, we talk on WhatsApp all the time, every day, and he's not in there yet, but I wouldn't be surprised if he's just not got his phone on him. You know, we're not in contact with his family or anything like that. We've just given him a bit of space, a bit of time, and we're not hassling. And I am a firm believer in no news is good news. That's a mantra that's gotten me through a lot of periods in my life without worrying, you know, and that's how we all feel. I'm sure it's fine. And I wouldn't be surprised if with Tony, we don't hear from him at all on WhatsApp, and then he just puts a video out and we all go, oh, there he is. That's often what happens with Tony. So I wouldn't be worried too much, but just wanted to touch on that. Now first, let me show you the very exciting things that we've got going on in the garden. Now the first thing, you might be able to see, there's a big old wheelbarrow in the middle of the lawn. And that is basically full of chippings. So we went ahead and bought a garden chipper, like a garden shredder, because I've been wanting one for years and years. We've basically had piles and piles of like crap, you know, just browns like hidden away in the back there. And it used to all be quite hidden, but the passion flower died back quite a lot. But yeah, there's been, you know, piles over there, and all along the back of that trellis there's been piles of just absolute rubbish. So we finally invested in a shredder. I was looking for one for ages on Marketplace, you know, like Facebook or free ads or something I could pick up for 20 or 30 quid, but there was just nothing that was decent. But this is it. Still got quite a bit of manure left over, and there was just, this whole thing was just piled up with old like prunings and bits of just brown, you know. So that stuff in there now is actually pretty good. There's still a bit in here that could do with chipping down. You can see a lot of rose stems, but most of that is actually compost just beneath the surface. So we're quite pleased with that. I was surprised that it was composting down at all, but in the shed, this is it. We bought a pretty hefty one. I think it was, I don't know, a bit over 100, and we thought it was worth, you know, spending a little bit, because we do always just find loads of stuff, big, slightly chunkier stuff, and this just macerates it down into kind of like a fine, mulchy, like goodness, you know. You'll see why we've done this in a moment, but one of the things is it just takes up so much less space. It's so good, and this stuff is going to break down pretty quickly at the bottom of raised beds, because we've been talking for a long time about the plans for kind of landscaping this garden. This is the old pallet raised bed that I built, and you know, it did okay. You can see we've taken the hollyhocks out, and to be honest, we're just glad. They were looking so disgusting because you had to take off all the leaves because they were all diseased, and they were just too big. So this is looking kind of flat, but next year is going to be the year, because look at what we've just had delivered. 14 sleepers. We're going to be making some nice raised beds out of those, and you can see Jess has been basically she kind of forced my hand with the sleepers in a very clever way by just buying more and more plants. She's going crazy on the roses. David Austin, actually, they sent her the wrong rose the other day. Someone bought her a rose as a gift, and they just sent a new one and let her keep the old one free of charge. Really nice. Kind of love to see that stuff from David Austin. So very, very cool. And the plan is to rip this out. We're going to have kind of 3 or 4 kind of square beds in there, and then you'll see it. They're kind of like a U shape. You know, you'll see it come together in time when we start. And in the middle here, we're going to have 2 that go down quite tall, so kind of 2 high, and that should eventually have a nice arch and lead into the greenhouse, which we have not yet bought, but we are still thinking about. And yeah, it's just really nice. The garden has kind of come together at the end of the year, and I just love the pond as well. I'm always drawn to the pond, but I don't want to get sidetracked. Oh, look at these. I don't want to get sidetracked. Look at these flowers. I love little cute cosmos when they're in a little trough. And these tagetes. Oh, so cute. So, those sleepers, that's quite a big project. It's one of those things, it looks kind of simple, you just, knock them together, but it takes time. And I've got a polytunnel to finish. I really want to get that polytunnel finished before I start work on these. I'm hoping this weekend I can get it finished, but that's really, I don't think that's going to happen. But it would be amazing if I could get the last bits done today and then the plastic on tomorrow. We'll see. But Jess has said she might just start cutting the sleepers to size because she is raring to go with this garden project. We've also got loads of other stuff going on with the house. If you've been watching the channel for a long time, you'll know the house was a little bit of a fixer-upper, and we've done loads of work on it. Half the rooms still don't have skirting boards, we're still making our way through. But the one thing we've never tackled is the back of the house, and you've never seen the back of the house because it is gross, okay? I've always taken great pains not to show, because we have this conservatory which is amazing space, but we have a shocking leak, and this conservatory is horrible because of the leak, and the actual back of the house itself just really grim. Before they left, they had these wall ties done, and we just always wanted to paint the back of the house. The lintels are all messy, and the guttering is completely rubbish. So we've got all this water that flows off, hits this bit of the conservatory, leaks. We got scaffolding booked, basically, is the upshot, and that is getting set up in a few weeks. So I'm hoping I can get the polytunnel done and these raised beds done, and then focus on the back of the DIY of the house, fixing up the leaks, fixing up the gutters, and giving it a bit of TLC with the paint. There's a lot on, okay? There's a lot on. It's fine, it's all fine. Should we go up the allotment, see what's going on up there? Well. Guess who had another audio malfunction, folks? With voiceovering today. And there's a lot of missing audio. So I'm not going to be able to remember half of what I was talking about, but here, the first thing, wow, that is bright, isn't it? It's just about how completely and utterly overgrown the plot is at the moment. It's really quite wild, but at the same time, I don't really mind because I'm still coming down, I'm still busy on the plot. And there's still things growing, all the pollinators are loving all of this. There's still crops in here that I'm harvesting. And I know that I can get back on top of this fairly quickly, but oh God, those edges are look at all that grass. Yeah, the edges, they do need a bit of work, but the chilies, this greenhouse just brings me so much joy. And I did spend just a little while looking in here. I'm starting to get a bit scared because the first super hots are just starting to ripen. That dark one there is the Reaper cross with the Douglas, and back here you can just see they're my first Butcher Lokias. They look so red, juicy and glossy, but very, very scary. Thankfully, I'm not quite at 50 patrons yet, so I won't be having to eat one of those. But at the back as well, there's loads of really nice looking red pods. This is absolutely shocking camera work though. Look at that. This is the problem. I can't get in the greenhouse at the moment. Dear me. Oh, but these are the champion peppers, and I was waxing lyrical about how amazing these taste for quite a while. And the tomato greenhouse is still looking really good. Look at these cucumbers. They have bounced back so well from that initial spider mite damage, and all the tomatoes ticking over really nicely in here. Still lots and lots to be picking in the near future, I think. There was one tomato that was looking a little bit sad, and that kind of marmande, I think I'm about to point at it. Hopefully. I'm not pointing. Point it. There it is, Jamie. Well done. Yeah, that one I don't think is recovering. I'm not quite sure what is wrong with it, but hey ho. There's still lots of other things in there. Let's go look at the polytunnel, where there is a massive update. Look at this. We have door frames. I am so pleased with this. It's really starting to come together. So earlier in the week, I came up and I got these door frames done, I think probably on Monday. I don't know what I'm pointing at there, the base rail. I'll probably saying that I got all the base rail, like it's all finally fitted and fixed, but you can see sort of the timbers that come into the side of the door frame do still need quite a lot of work. And that's what we're going to work on today. I'm pointing. Wow, look at that. I don't know what I'm doing with my hand there. I think I was very confused about why these don't tally up. I think basically I've just brought the poles slightly closer together than Steve had them, but that just means I need to dig up a little bit less. And here I'm just showing you the big hole, and I remember going, this was way much more work, way much more work. This was much more work than I was expecting, and just having a bit of a moan, really. Now we've come over to show you the battening, and I don't think I did a very good job of describing this first time round, so it's going to be even harder now on voiceover. Look, I'm doing all this stuff with my hands. But I was trying to describe, you get a batten that goes along the top. So we've got one in there, and I've got to put that in all the way along. And then that creates kind of like a rebate. So the plastic, yeah, there you go, look. So the plastic will slide on top of all that, and then there's a recess for you to put the extra batten in, and it just makes it extra strong. And God knows what I'm going on about at this point. Absolutely no idea. I'm just in full rambling mode. So let's just stop it here. I'm gonna go to the next bit where the audio comes back. Hurrah! And I'm a bit down in the dumps because it's too hot, and I've been working on the battening and all the final bits for a few hours. Tell you what, folks, the energy levels are just low today. I've got a bit more done on the polytunnel, but just having a little break, you know, a little rest in the shade. The hat is out. The vest is out. It's just unbearably warm. It's not that warm, it's just I really struggle with the heat. I'm a bit of a pansy, you know. And this project has been so good, but yeah, like when I was doing the doors, I think it was Monday, and after work on Monday, and I'd been going just crazy the whole weekend on the polytunnel. I came to do it Monday, and I was just like exhausted. You know, the energy levels were so low. Jess was with me. Jess came up to help, half to help me with the doors, but mostly just for moral support, I think. And I'm a bit disappointed to say that I feel the same today. You know, it's starting to feel a bit just like a bit of a slog. You know, I've lost, when we were first doing it, I was so like, yes, this is so good, I'm so excited, I had the momentum. And now it's slowing down a bit, it's all the fiddly little bits, and I'm still so looking forward to getting it done, but it's waning a little bit. Let me show you what I've done. It's only 6 pieces of timber, but it has been surprisingly awkward, and I've been looking at the instructions and been very confused about how this all goes together, but I've looked back at the pictures and I've just done it how Steve did it. So the main confusion is this is part of the base rail, and this whole base rail is quite mobile, so you can loosen it and you can raise it up and down, and that's really important because you fix the plastic in with battens after you've raised it, and then you push it down, and that's what tightens the whole plastic. And I don't really understand how this bit fits in, because you need to batten the plastic down here as well, I guess. Do you? Maybe you don't. Maybe you just do it in the door. I don't know, I'm still confused about it, as you can see. So I've not fixed these in at the base until I'm certain, but I have cut them all to size, and they're pretty good. This one is fixed in, but I need a really long screw to go in there. And yeah, it's just been really faffing, you know, trying to get exactly the right millimeters off, getting it all level. The doors are pretty square, although once again in places it's slightly uneven, so I think it's a slightly bigger gap here, but the doors are level and they're screwed in at the right. It's all just you know, it's been a little bit trying, a little bit testing on the patience. You know, can you actually see my face? And the other thing that is really awkward is trying to figure out exactly where you want the door. It's such a little thing, but I've spent ages going backwards and forwards looking at this line. Basically, you see there, you kind of want to make sure that it's level, and I think it is. I think I've got a nice flat edge on here, and yeah, you know, just lots of standing back, checking it, tapping the door frame out a little bit and back in, and getting the spirit level on. But I think it's good. I think the next step is getting a bit of battening on. You know, sometimes you just need to take a little bit of a break. I love picking up the camera when I take a break because it does kind of kickstart the enthusiasm again. But now I'm just going to go around the bottom, get all this battening on. I hadn't really planned on this being a polytunnel episode, but here we are. And yeah, we'll see how much battening I've actually got, because I've definitely destroyed quite a lot. Okay, so generally speaking, the battening has gone quite smoothly, and we're I can't talk with those in my mouth. We're just on to the very last piece. I've just got to cut this one to size, and then we're pretty much This is making a weird noise on there. I don't need this anymore. Oh yeah, once this is done, then that's basically it. It's plastic time. You can't do the doors until after the plastic. I don't think, yeah, no, because you need to stretch it around the door frames and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it does feel good, but it is far too hot. It's about 1 o'clock now, so we're in the heat of the day, but I just need to get this done. And then I'm gonna pop to the shop and pick up some more battening, basically find a hardware store and pick up some of the last pieces. This bit is very tricky because of the nail plate underneath. This does help to cover up a lot of the metal work as well, which I guess is good, because then the metal work is not on the plastic, heating it up. Where I've done lots of kind of little fillers, there are a few gaps here and there, but I don't really think it's the end of the world. I think it's fine. This is the last one, the tricky one. Not much space with this nail plate. I think that's it. Nice. There are now 2 things on the allotment that I am really looking forward to. The first is the plastic. It's ready. We're ready for the plastic now, so hopefully tomorrow we can do that. My dad has said he's going to come down after watching the World Cup, so I can't believe it. I can't believe it's actually going to happen. The second thing that I'm really looking forward to is mowing this place, coming down with this trimmer and finally giving it a haircut and edging the beds, because it's not looking good. Thank you ever so much for watching. An extra special thank you to all of my chili pepper tier patrons, as well as all my normal patrons. I couldn't have bought those sleepers, and I'm about to go and buy the battening, which I probably wouldn't be able to do without the Patreon support, so thank you ever so much. Tony, Bill, Pam, Louise, Mel, Michael, Denise, Socks in the Garden, and Andrew, I think. Hopefully I'll see you again in the next one.